Well, hello there. Welcome to our Friday demo. Hope you had a fantastic week and getting ready for a fun weekend. Hopefully we'll get a really fun painting before your weekend begins. So strap in and we're gonna do a cloud pour. It took me a while to get it out of my mouth. We're doing a cloud pour painting this afternoon or this evening, and I've got my paints all mixed up. They're ready to go. Some fun colors that I enjoy using, and I'm going to be pouring on an older canvas, one that didn't turn out that great, so we'll take a look at that, but should be a fun cloud pour painting, and I'm excited to get going. So welcome Pat and Lily, great to see you. So let's dive in, and we'll get to work here. So, and Cinda has joined us, welcome. So I've got a pretty simple color palette, something that I like to use a lot. I've mixed up my 4-part cloud mix, which if you're a member, and all of you are, is in the member area for you. So I'm not going to go through the entire formula for the cloud mix because you already know it and I've talked about it a lot. So let's dive in, and I'll show you the colors we'll be using, and we'll get to layering our cup and pouring some clouds. So let's flip the camera here and get going. So here we go, just a simple black and white plus a few colors. This is just some black I'm going to be using for my base coat, as well as a little bit of black inside the layered cup. Here is my 4-part cloud mixture, and it's mixed up with 2 different whites and the Vallejo pouring medium, and of course Floetrol and water to get to the number 3 consistency today. I'm using the number 3 consistency, tiny bit thinner than I normally would do a cloud pour. Normally I use the number 2 consistency, but we're going a little bit thinner today just as a test. So I've got some metallic purple mixed up from Artist Loft. This is just the easy formula, just the 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint. I've got some sky blue, which is a beautiful blue from Master's Touch, and of course my favorite gold from Liquitex Basics. Also the easy formula. All of these are the number 3 consistency. So let's go ahead and layer our cup up. Here is my 16 by 20. You might have remembered this from a few weeks ago. It was a demo I did. Not great. It's very neutral, and it's very bland and boring. There's no contrast in it. Not very exciting painting. So we're going to pour on top of this and see if we can get a better one. So let's go ahead, layer our cups here. I'm going to move these out of the way. And I've got a cup. I'm just using a regular old cup. 10 ounces of paint is what we need for a straight pour, which is this technique, and on a 16 by 20. So let's go ahead and start layering our cup. Now when I do a cloud pour, I like to add, normally a lot of people add the cloud base first. I've done that many times. I like to add just a touch of gold first, and I think it ends up, you kind of get a more interesting center if you have another color in there first. So that's just a touch of gold, and then we're going to pour some of our cloud mixture. And then I'm going to go ahead and layer some more gold, like an actual layer of gold in there. And then from there we can just layer our paints however we want. I'm going to go with my purple next. Small amount of purple, small amount of blue, and then I'm going to add just a touch of black, and then go back to, and let's see, what do I want to do next? Then I'm going to go with some gold next, I think. Gold on top of the black, and then another layer of the cloud mixture. There we go. And I'll go to my blue next, I think. These are all just floating layers standard kind of layers I'd use on a cloud pour, or for any kind of straight pour, I mean. A little more black, a little more gold, and then one more small layer of our cloud mix. Gonna go to the purple this time, and then our blue, maybe the rest of our gold, and then finish it off with a little black. And that's our 10 ounces of paint. So cup is all layered up. Let's move that aside. And pull our old canvas over, and we'll go ahead and put our base coat on there. And we'll just spread that out. So just a thin layer. I have too much black. My gosh, I think I really overdid it. I'm going to pull some of this excess down. Way too much, my goodness. Got all carried away. It's a lot of fun pouring paint. And just scoop some of that up. A little bit more. I think that's better. And you'll find that if you pour a base coat on an older canvas, it definitely takes less because you've already sealed that canvas up with acrylic, so it doesn't take as much. So this looks pretty good. I'll get a little bit more maybe, and we're good to go. I'll give this a little torch just to get rid of some air bubbles. I'm just going to kind of even it out. Oops. There we go. We got it. Grab my torch. And we are ready to go. I'm going to flip the camera here, give you a better shot of the pour. Get that kind of arranged, something like that. And I'll bring my cup over. And let's see here. Okay, so all I have to do next is decide which end of the cup I'm going to pour out of. We're already getting some kind of interesting cloudy effects in there. I think I'm going to pour out of the opposite side this time. A lot of times I'll pour out of the side I layered. This time I'm going to go with the opposite side of the cup, and we'll see what we get. So let's go ahead and start our pour. Just a nice thin stream in the middle of our canvas. That's looking good, and you can vary the height of your cup, of course, if you wish. You can kind of turn your cup a bit. One thing that makes this easier is if you had a turntable or a spinner, you could slowly kind of turn your canvas instead of your cup. And here's some clouds coming out. Oops, let's see here. Getting a little funny with my stream. So you can see more of the cloud mixture coming out. Okay, I'm getting towards the end here. So I'm gonna slow it down just a bit. Concentrate. Now I'm using the number 3 consistency like I mentioned, so the paint is a tiny bit thinner, and so our rings are going to be very tightly compressed. And we're almost there. And I'm going to end it right here. So I'm just going to let that drip go. And oops, I got an errant drip, but that's okay. I think we're in good shape. And there we go. I didn't get every single last little drip of white out. I usually leave just a tiny bit left in the cup. I don't want this massive white center, so I try to limit the center a little bit. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. So we got a very nice looking cloudy puddle so far. Let's flip back over to the top. And it's looking nice. We got some cool cloudy cells over here. And we're ready to go ahead and do a little tilting. We could leave this sit a bit if you want. It will help things develop a little bit. So it's up to you. You can let it sit for a moment. I'm going to get a sip of water. Okay. It's looking nice. I'm happy with the way the puddle is looking so far. So let's go ahead and tilt our puddle out. So this is kind of the standard way. I'm just going to expand the paint puddle. Just kind of expand it slowly around the canvas. And I'm avoiding going off the edges at the moment. And I'm going to turn it around here a little bit. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to pour off these corners first. We got a lot of our interest happening over here. So I'm going to pour off of these 2 corners last. I love what's happening over in this area here. We've got lots of cloud effects going on. It's looking pretty cool. So let's go ahead and tilt off of this corner first. So just let the paint run over, and I'm going to actually tilt a little bit more off. And that'll kind of bring it back to center. It'll go down here. And I'm actually going to tilt a little bit more. I want to get into the center a little more on this corner. As I don't want to overstretch my clouds too much by going and tilting back all the way across the canvas. So I'm trying to kind of finish up as I go here. It's looking pretty cool. So next up is this corner. I'm going to try to keep a lot of this awesome stuff right around the edge here. So I'm going to slowly bring it down. You could use a corner catcher if you wanted to kind of save some of that. It looks pretty good. Okay, so one left. And again, we have a lot of cool stuff right here. And I'm going to add a little bit more black as a flow extender right along this lip here, just to help pull that paint over so I can lose as little as possible. Use my finger to just kind of pull that paint down. So that's a handy tip, to try to keep as much as possible just on the edge there. It's very easy to lose all of that. I'll lose some of it, but I'm going to try to preserve some of it, and the flow extender can help. So just letting the paint kind of take its time and move over there. There we go. So I'm just going to turn it and then kind of let that paint kind of move back to the center a little. So we've got everything covered. I'm pretty pleased with what we've got so far. We've got a lot of cool clouds happening. We haven't overstretched the cells too much, I don't think. So we've got a lot of awesome stuff going on. Pretty pleased with the corners and the way that all the corners are different. I'm happy that I kind of tilted off and try to finalize these two corners first. So at this stage, you can look and see if there's any adjustments you want to make, any kind of fine tuning. I'm pretty happy with the way the whole thing looks. So let's see here. And I'm going to just check, and we got Robert in the house. Hey, great to see you, Robert. And Kathy is here too. Fantastic. And Monique has shown up. Sorry to wake you up, Monique, but glad you could come by. I'm going to just take a look. And I don't think I'm going to do any. I'm just looking at what the paint is doing, tilting up slightly here. And I think I like it just like that. So I'm going to flip it around here and just see what it looks like from this angle. I kind of like that orientation. And I love what happened with our gold. So I put that small bit of gold in first, and then our cloud mixture, and then some more gold, and we've got this beautiful white with these golden kind of edges happening, and it's just this beautiful, very subtle detail, which is just really cool. And I really love when that happens with the cloud mixture. I'll zoom in a little bit and you can kind of see some of the details. But I think this turned out very cool. Lots of cloudy effects, which I love. And we've got the clouds. I kind of like these clouds tilting over the edge here, extending over the edge, and they have this beautiful faded kind of effect. And all these little interesting, cool things over here I really like a lot. So I'm pretty pleased with this cloud pour. So let me zoom in a little bit and you can check out some of the interesting effects. So here's that top corner. I like that it's kind of dark and subtle, but has some cool cells in it. And then here are those clouds extending over the edge, which I really like. And then that bottom corner. And this will continue to kind of evolve a little bit as it sits here for maybe the next 10 minutes or so. There's that top corner. And then here are those cool golden and white kind of interesting cells. I just love that effect. It's just like a subtle effect, but that's really, really cool. So pretty happy with that one. So let's go ahead and go back here. Any questions you might have, be happy to answer them for you. And let me go back. I'll give you let me zoom back out and you can kind of get one last peek at the full picture. There we go. So that was a fun one. And it's much better than the original painting. So, all right, let me flip on back here and see if you have any questions. And I'll check the chat and see. Thanks for the great comments, everybody. I'm glad you all enjoyed the cloud pour. It's a good one. Let's see here. And thanks, Novala. Appreciate that. Great to see you. Let's see. All right. No questions. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. It's yeah, it's a very cloudy, stormy looking painting, a fun one. So this is my favorite cloud mixture, and of course you all have access to that formula, the 4-part cloud mix. So give it a try and see what you can come up with. So no questions? All right. Well, this turned out to be a pretty quick demo, but thanks so much for joining me, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend. And unless there's any last minute questions, I will see you next week. Okay. I guess I explained it all perfectly. All right. Well, take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.